So whilst the iPhone 8 is a fair bit stronger than its predecessor, the iPhone 7, it is still very much a mortal smartphone. But in this video I'm going to show you a case that not only makes the phone almost unbreakable, but also makes it modular. So don't forget to stay till the end for a slow motion drop test, and with that being said, let's get right into it. Now, the case in question is the Rhino Shield mod, and I've split this video into 5 sections just because there is so much to talk about here, and each section we go through, you'll find it gets more and more impressive. At its very core, this is the mod bumper case. It's not immediately impressive, it doesn't scream for attention, but it does have this subtle, sophisticated level of quality. We've got a matte finish, and the company has given you enough space around the lightning port in case you want to use some third-party accessory. There's also just a little bit of a lip. The bumper spills just over the edge of the front and the back of the smartphone to protect those two sides too. And this is where the case starts to become really interesting, because it's built to have an extremely high level of tensile strength. It actually far exceeds the US military standards in terms of its ability to resist being bent out of shape. You'll also notice, taking a look at the inside edge over here, that there is this honeycomb-like structure going on, which the company calls their shock spread technology, the ability to spread and therefore dampen any shock that happens at one point of the smartphone. We'll see how well it works in the drop test. Now, don't get me wrong, for the average person, and considering how the average person breaks their smartphone, this is completely overkill. I suppose it's somewhat reassuring knowing that if you did happen to drop your phone out of an airplane, it might just survive, but I do think the strength factor alone is probably not enough reason to spend this much on a case, but there's more. So the next section, the next sort of level of customizability of this case, is the fact that you can pick whatever buttons you want. Everything snaps into place, and the end product looks like you'd literally just bought it like that. Now, in terms of bumper cases like this, I have a bit of a mixed opinion on them. On one hand, they seem like the perfect halfway house in between someone who doesn't want the bulk of a case, but also someone who wants a little bit of drop protection. But on the other hand, you do get all of the extra width associated with having a case without ending up protecting the rear. Luckily though, the company has actually thought of this as well. So something I did like about the Rhino case is, as well as being able to change out the bumper, being able to change out the buttons, you can also change out the rear of the phone. So immediately you can transform it between a bumper and a case. You can also choose the style of back you have. It definitely feels solid, but kind of more on the plasticky side than the marble it kind of looks like. And again, once that has clicked into place, it's not going anywhere. But now the case does get quite a bit cooler. Camera lenses. And not just one, let's just say there are a fair few options here. All you need to do is to get the camera mounter and slide it into the socket on the inside of the case, and then you'll be able to screw in any of the lenses. And because here we're using a screw-on mechanism compared to the clip-on ones that a lot of companies go for, it feels a lot more secure and a lot more integrated with the entire smartphone experience. So these do come with a fairly premium price tag, but it was good to see that they're presented in a way which respects that. Every single one comes with this tiny little pouch made of microfiber material which protects them from drops. We've even got a miniature lens hood in there, and even a lens cover that reminds you of what you see on DSLR lenses. So what options are there? Well, the company is particularly proud of their HD wide-angle lens, which is the highest grade lens on offer. You've got a far wider angle than your smartphone alone will be able to do, but also zero distortion. So you'll be able to take a photo and it will simply look like it was taken by someone standing a lot further back. So taking a look at this photo, this is our standard benchmark photo taken on the iPhone 8, and this is what the HD wide-angle lens does. It captures significantly more in the image, and you can barely tell the difference in terms of quality. So then we've got the super wide angle, which captures even more than that one. It's got a viewing angle of 165 degrees, but as you can see, there is a little bit of distortion around the edges. For the real artists among you, there's also a fisheye lens, which creates quite a distinctive effect, but at the same time, it's not something that can't easily be imitated using software. But for me, my personal favorite was the macro lens. It allows you to get far closer to objects than you'd otherwise be able to, and still retain focus on them. So you can retain almost your full 12 megapixels of detail of the iPhone 8 camera with very little distortion. Now, the only real way to take this a step further is to introduce the impact protection screen guard. And this product really doesn't mess around. This thing has 6 layers of protection. But actually, surprisingly enough, it's made of a plastic type material. This is not a tempered glass screen protector, but actually in the hand feels unlike any plastic one we've used before. It's meant to be very scratch and fingerprint resistant, and also have a 99% level of transparency, which rivals even the tempered glass ones we've seen. But more importantly, the reason it's made of this material as opposed to tempered glass is because this has 5 times the drop resistance of Gorilla Glass 3. Alright, so probably the bit you guys have all been waiting for, we're now going to drop the phone from a series of heights, and let's see what happens to it. So starting off by holding the phone at waist height, about 1 meter above the ground, which is where most people would be dropping their phones from, pretty much nothing happens to it. As we then move to 2.2 meters though, which is about as high as I can reach standing up, you can see it has a pretty fun collision with the floor. Having said that, taking it out of the case, it is completely unmarked. What I then decided to do was to stand there and throw the phone upwards, so it was essentially falling from about a 4-meter height. It landed face down, and you literally can't tell. In neither the case or the smartphone after inspecting it afterwards, there isn't a scratch, there isn't a mark, you literally wouldn't be able to tell it had been dropped at all. And there you have it guys, that is the Rhino Shield mod. Whilst its protection is somewhat overkill for the average user, and its visual appeal might not be for everybody, the fact that you can customize it to this extent goes a long way at solving that. And also the fact that it's practically indestructible really does help seal the deal. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching, I really hope you enjoyed the video, I'm Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll see you in the next one.